All right, so now we're on to the back of the G63, the 2013. I'm working on replacing the rear brakes. I've now received all the parts I've been waiting for. I've ordered new rotors, pads, and also new parking brake shoes and hardware kit. So these are, I forget who the manufacturer is of these rotors, but they look exactly the same as the AMG ones on there. So I'm assuming they're probably made in the same place, just they're not official AMG, because Mercedes quoted me, I believe it was about $350 per rotor, and I think I got these for about 120 bucks a piece, so about a third of the price. So let's go ahead and get the wheels off and get going. There's the rotor, and there's our parking shoes. old these are, but they're pretty worn. So just make sure we have the right ones, and then we'll go ahead and replace them. I mean, it's not really necessary, but since we already have them and we already have it apart, we might as well do it. Each shoe has a spring holding it inwards. Which I think we can just turn. You just kind of push on it and turn it so that you can get it out of the slot that it's in. Okay. And now there's another spring on the underside holding the other shoe in place. Alright, so here's all the parts we took out. We've got two sets of springs and then the shoes. Now, we've got our mechanism here that actually makes the shoes work. So you've got this here, it's attached to the parking brake cable, and when you pull on the cable, it spreads these apart, and that's what pushes the shoes up against the rotor, the inside of the rotor. So now we can clean this up a little bit and then we'll start putting our new stuff back on. Okay, so in our hardware kits, we've got the new springs. Got the other set of springs to hold it in, hold the shoes in, and then we have our adjusters. So this is how you put the adjuster together. The kit comes with a bit of white lithium grease, so you'll want to grease all that stuff up. That way it doesn't bind up on you. You don't want any grease getting on your actual brake parts. So we'll put the stuff with the other side away for now so we don't lose it. And we'll start on this side. Now I don't know if these shoes are the same or different. They have the same part number on them, so I'm assuming they're the same. Compared to the old Mercedes shoes, they are exactly the same. So we've got two different kinds of springs here. From taking apart the old ones, this spring was down below and this spring was on top. This is how they had the spring sitting there, like so. This is the really finicky part of actually putting these springs on. Never fun. Alright, so my GoPro died, but I went ahead and got the rest of these shoes back together. So what you want to do is kind of put all the springs on. The way I did it is I put these the horizontal springs in first. Those will kind of hold your shoes in place. And then you put the vertical springs that hold the shoes together. Put the bottom one in first and then the top one. And then after that you put your adjuster in. So now what we're gonna do is we'll test fit the new rotor, and then we'll adjust the shoes to where they're just making a little bit of contact with the inside of the rotor, and then we'll know that our parking brake will work. So we've got our new rotor here, put it over the shoes, and then we'll just kind of check it. So right now we're not really making any contact. So what we'll do is we'll spin our adjuster outwards and make it so it spreads the shoes out a bit. So let's try it there. I think that's probably pretty good there. You don't want it too tight, otherwise it'll drag as you're driving down the road. But I think that feels pretty good. I mean, worst case, it'll wear off a bit of the shoe, but that should be all right there. And now we'll just line up our hole for our retaining bolt and put the bolt back in. It looks like it had some blue Loctite on it before, so let's put some new Loctite on there and we'll tighten it back down. Alright, so we got some blue Loctite. Put that on. Put our bolt back in. Just give it a decent impact, and then what I'll do now is I'll put the parking brake on, and just to double check that the shoes are engaging. Yeah, it seems pretty solid. No, I mean, it could be. Let's take the bolt back out just to double check that the rotor doesn't spin. Because it could be just the other side holding, but it's holding pretty solid. So I think we'll be okay there. So now what we'll do is we'll take our, put our bracket back on for the caliper, and give the rotor a bit of a clean. Looks like it might have a little bit of grease on there. don't know what the torque spec is on these, but we'll just go with the old German torque spec, the good and tight. That should be good. Don't think it's going anywhere. So we'll take our parking brake back off now, and then we'll clean the backside of the rotor also. Just because we don't want any grease or anything on there, because we don't want to ruin our brand new brake pads. Alright, so now we can take our caliper and we'll take our caliper tool and push it back in. This is an OEM Tools set that I like to use. It's good because it has the ability to spin the caliper if you need to. I mean the piston, that is. But I don't think we have to spin this one, but we'll find out. No, it just goes back in, no problem. Don't need to spin it. I used to use just C-clamps before, and those work fine too, but I mean, for the money, I think I paid like 40 bucks for this set off Amazon. And it just makes things so much easier. The part number of the set is 77111, if anybody's interested. Okay, so caliper's back in now. Let's get our new pads ready. Pads are a little different. This one obviously goes into the piston, and this one goes on the outside, like so. Now I usually like to put some anti-squeal on. Bit of this red stuff on, just kind of around where the piston's going to sit. Don't need too much, just because I don't want these things squealing. Okay. And then we'll put some on this side, just where the caliper is going to sit. And there we go. I was hoping those pads would come with a new metal retainer bracket, but they didn't. and this is an old rusty one that I have here, so I guess I'll have to reuse it. I doubt that I can buy it separately. Maybe there's a hardware kit I can buy. I'll take a look online and see what I can come up with. Now, same thing on these bolts. I just like to put a bit of never seize on there. Once again, our wrench doesn't fit, so we gotta do most of this by hand. And that's it. Now I'll put these caps back in. And then we'll put this metal bracket back on. So that's that. Just give it a bit of a clean again. Now we can put the wheel back on, and then we'll go on to the other side, get the other side done. And then our brakes will be brand new. Now there's only one wear sensor on the rear, and it's on the other side. So when you're doing this, make sure you get a new wear sensor. That's it. Thanks for watching.